Welcome back, folks, to the random video blog where every single Friday I, Graham G.S. Matthews, run down my rambling thoughts in the wrestling world, share a few stories, etc., etc. And today we're bringing back an old staple, an edition of a series I have not done in quite some time now. I think probably since, I don't know if I did it in May, so maybe since February. It's been quite some time, 6-7 months. The You Never Know Who Might Be a Wrestling Fan series. So I started this way back when, about 2.5 years ago. Actually, one of the first ever, if not the first ever video blog we ever did in this random video blog series. It all started with this series 2.5 years ago in February of 2014, where I told a story about how a teacher that I had in my senior year of high school turned out to be a wrestling fan, one of the coolest guys I knew all year. He was always one of my favorite teachers. But when I found out in the final few months of my second semester of senior year, that he was a wrestling fan, we bonded over that. A great guy. We talked all about it pretty much at the end of every school day from that point forward. And it always made my day, and we kept in contact from that point forward. So I've told different stories over the past 7 episodes. I think this is edition number 8. I might be mistaken. You guys know better than I would. It's down in the title down below. But I'm pretty sure I've done 7 episodes so far over the past 2.5 years. I've talked about people that I've met, friends, family members, people like that I've randomly run into, coworkers and stuff like that were wrestling fans. So be sure to check out all the past 7 editions of You Never Know Who Might Be a Wrestling Fan series. Today is edition number 8. So as I film this, as this goes up, I will be back in school by this point. I'm just kind of filming this to kind of just in case I don't have time to film it next week. I'm just going to put it up on Friday, September 9th. And also on this day, September 9th, I'll also be going to Chaotic Wrestling with Zach Donegan. Be sure to check him out on Twitter at Zach Donegan on the Twitter machine. But yeah, anyway, so by this point, I will be back up at college. So around this time a year ago, I thought it was pretty fitting as we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of this. About a year ago, I was going to my junior year of college, Endicott College over in Beverly, Massachusetts. And actually, it was really funny. It was around the time, in that same month, about a year ago, I ran into my roommate's girlfriend's roommate, friend. That makes very little sense, I know. But they were no, I'm sorry. Let's start out here. My roommate's girlfriend's roommate's boyfriend. That's what it was. They found out that he was a wrestling fan. We talked about that and whatever. So I was just kind of joking with RJ. Oh, there's another wrestling fan on campus. And I also saw someone wearing a KO shirt too one day. And I never see anyone wearing wrestling shirts on campus, obviously. It's a college campus, other than RJ and myself. But I did see someone wearing a Kevin Owens shirt one day. And I'm thinking, I got to find this kid. Never found him, never saw him again. I don't think so anyway. I didn't get his name or anything. I just saw him wearing a KO shirt one day. So anyway, I'm sitting down one day, one Tuesday, Thursday afternoon, in the morning actually. I'm having breakfast at some local cafe on my college campus. And I'm wearing my Dean Ambrose. I think it was my shirt. It was my shirt. I was wearing the Dean Ambrose Unstable shirt. And someone just randomly walked by and said, "Hey, nice shirt." And it could have been someone who liked the shirt, someone who was a fan. More often than not, it's the latter. And I said, "Cool, thanks." I didn't really see who it was. It was some guy who just kind of walked by. He was talking with a teacher, so I assumed it was a professor or something, so I just kind of forgot about it. Until about a week or so later, when I went back through the school, I was filming something. I was going to film, I think one of the random video blogs in somewhere in the school or something one random Friday. And I ran past somebody, that same guy, and they said, "Hey, nice jacket." And on that day, I wasn't wearing the Dean Ambrose shirt, but I was wearing the Dean Ambrose sweatshirt, the Dean Ambrose Unstable sweatshirt. And I was like, "Oh, cool, thanks. Were you that same guy who said nice shirt the last time I talked to you?" He said, "Yeah." So that kind of turned into almost a 30-minute conversation in the hallway of my college, of the academic center. And the funny thing is that some class was going on at that same time. I think the door might have been open, so they probably heard every single fucking word that we were saying. But it was super funny, and we just kind of talked about pretty much everything. And I love running the wrestling fans, but you never know who you might run into. I mean, I love talking to wrestling fans, period. But you're always kind of on the edge, I guess might be the right way to phrase it. Just because you never really know the knowledge base of who you're talking to. You might be someone who might be wearing a John Cena shirt. They might have just bought the shirt because their friend's into it, or they might have just bought the shirt because they like John Cena. They don't really know anything else. They're not a smart, Mark, whatever. They're just kind of a casual fan at best. But this guy, I quickly learned, was as much of a smart, if not more, than me. We just talked for a half hour, almost an hour on end, talking about Kevin Owens, everything going on with the latest products, Seth Rollins, the WWE Network. And this guy knew his shit. And when I say professor, he wasn't really a professor. He's someone who works at the school in the IT department. and he's about, I think, late 20s, early 30s. I'm pretty sure late 20s. But yeah, it's not like I'm talking about, when I say professor, I'm not talking about like a 50, 60-year-old guy. He's only a couple years older than me, graduated from the same college that he graduated from that college that I go to, and he now works there as an employee. But yeah, we talked for a long-ass time all about wrestling, and I'm like, that was really fucking cool, and he told me he had a comic book shop down the road from there that I never ended up getting to that year. I'm hoping to at some point this semester. But yeah, he owned his own comic shop. He'd interviewed Kaz and Daniels, Kazarian and Christopher Daniels at one point at that comic book shop, and just got his information, sent him an email later that day. We kind of kept in touch over email. I would stop by his office pretty much every Tuesday or Thursday whenever I had the chance to talk about Raw, NXT, SmackDown. We talked about starting up our own podcast on the college campus in addition to Wrestle Rant Radio for a while, and we finally got underway in the second semester, so earlier this year, back at the onset of 2016. And we did it every Thursday from that point forward, as you guys might know as WWEC Radio. The excerpts of the show are up here on the channel. If you want to check it out, my buddy at Tommy Sharp, you can check him out on the show. All the excerpts are up here on the channel if you want to listen to it. And that's him. So that is how I met Tom. Great guy. Looking forward to seeing him again this semester, hanging out and talking all about wrestling and getting the show back underway on WWEC Radio, so be sure to check that show out. So not really a cheap plug for the show, but I thought I'd tell the story in addition to kind of plug the return of the show in the next couple weeks. But you never know who might be a wrestling fan is the bottom line. So whenever you see someone wearing a wrestling shirt, or you see someone who might be interested in wrestling, or they might see you, you never really know. Always strike up a conversation. You never know who you might become friends with.